Welcome to Earth 2, where superheroes exist and superhero movie talk is the norm. I just got back from seeing Marvel Spider-Man Homecoming, and I'm going to be giving you my initial thoughts on it. So you know what? Sit back, relax, and as always,
Welcome to the planet.
Spider-Man Homecoming is the sixth Spider-Man movie, but this is not the Sony version. This is the Marvel version because we already got an introduction to Spider-Man or Tom Holland as Spider-Man, into the MCU and Civil War. So this is just like Marvel saying, let's just go ahead and give you another Spider-Man movie, technically another origin story without certain parts of the origin, and I believe that's also what worked for this movie is the fact that they didn't necessarily have to go back into the origin of it. We know the origin, so they just go straight into the movie or straight into the time where he is Spider-Man and he's coming of age. That is what this movie does well. It's a very good coming of age movie and a very good high school movie. So it's showing high school relationships, high school drama, high school, just going through every day as a high school teenager and having to have superpowers to foil bank robberies and such. So this is exactly what this movie does, and these are some of the things the movie does well. As always on Earth 2, I'm going to be doing certain things that I liked, certain things that I didn't. I'm going to keep this one very short and sweet because I want people to go see the movie and come back, when it's time to do the spoiler version and we can go ahead and talk about it. So you know what? Let me get into this movie with the characters. Tom Holland, he impressed everyone in Civil War, and honestly, he might be the best live action Spider-Man we've ever gotten. Especially again with the age that they're going with, and the comic book interpretation of Spider-Man, especially Spider-Man in high school going through, Peter Parker in high school going through what he goes through with his relationships, with his friendships, and with having to deal with saving New York and saving the world sometimes. So this is exactly what this movie does well, and this is what Tom Holland brings to the plate or to Spider-Man role, and this is exactly what he does well with it. So I really commend Tom Holland and Marvel and Sony for what they did with casting him and making this this particular role, this particular Spider-Man very comic book accurate. Um, if you haven't seen any of the promos, then I don't know who I'm talking to. But if you've seen the promos, you've seen RDJ in it. RDJ's in a lot of the promos. I believe he's in there for marketing purposes, pretty much, because a lot of you, like myself, went into this movie with Spider-Man fatigue, or are going to go into this movie with Spider-Man fatigue. Rest assured that if you've seen the promos and you've seen RDJ in it, that's about it. Nothing else. However, there are some scenes in this movie with RDJ in it that they saved for the actual movie that you're gonna get to enjoy. And I believe that with what he did in this movie, like literally, if we got an Iron Man 4 after this, I would be perfectly okay with that. RDJ is RDJ. He is who he is. He owns the Iron Man role, and what he was able to bring to this as a pseudo mentor. Because then again, you as a mentor to Spider-Man, as the Uncle Ben of this movie, without being an Uncle Ben type character, we got that. That's what he was able to do in this movie, and literally, we've seen it all. I'm not even gonna try to hide that for you. We've seen it all. Marissa Tomei as Aunt May was really good. A hip, young, Aunt May is what I guess a lot of people are going to connect to nowadays. So I guess she was really good. She filled that role really well. Hopefully they do get to explore their relationship, Marissa's and Peter, Aunt May and Peter Parker moving forward, because I feel like it fell short in that certain things weren't said. There was a lot of unsaid things. I feel like I need them to explore that more. That's just me, but you're going to go see this and you're going to develop your own opinion about it. Happy Hogan, it was cool to have him back. It's been a while. We haven't seen Happy since Iron Man 2. Yeah, so it was cool. It was kind of cool to have him back. He did a really good job. John Favreau did a really good job in this, and he's always lovely when he's been in the MCU. So it's always good to see him in the MCU. Shoot, who am I missing? I'm missing a couple of characters, but I'm gonna go ahead and jump straight into the standout character for me, Michael Keaton as Agent Toomes / Vulture. The villain of the movie. I will say this right now for everyone that wants to see this movie, for everyone that's gonna go see this movie, he is one of the best Marvel Cinematic Universe, not Marvel villains, Marvel Cinematic Universe villains that is not a god and is not cosmic. So yes, he's one of the most memorable ones also because yes, as the Vulture, he's a big bad guy. I'm sorry, he has his wings. He has those motivations. But as Adrian Toomes, as Michael Keaton, when he's not wearing the Vulture mask, when the suit is not on, he's very threatening, very menacing, and that is what you kind of want in a character, and that's what Michael Keaton did to this movie. Where most villains yell and have to project to show you how scary they are, Michael Keaton had this cool demeanor, that cool thing he did with his demeanor, and this is with his voice. I think it's his voice, and that's what made him, or makes him, in the conversation of the best Batman, who is the best Batman, because it's something he does with his voice is so cool. It's so calming to me. Like, it's just so cool. I can't even like do his voice real well. He did that pretty much. He did that. He was very good in this. His Vulture was very scary when he was the Vulture, but as Adrian Toomes, as just the guy, I think he was more scary as the guy than he was as the Vulture himself. He did a really good job in being a villain, and I really, really love that. I really love the fact that and the thing I like about his villain, or just Adrian Toomes, is if you see the movie, in the beginning of the movie, it starts out with him, and they get to flush out his motivation, so you understand his motivations going into the movie, where it's almost very real. You feel like as a regular person, you could fall into that trap if you were in the situation or in this position he was in. It's very, very easy for someone to fall into that trap. If your moral compass is already at some point askew, you can fall into that trap. So yeah, man, Michael Keaton did his thing. The suit, the suit is two things in this movie. The suit is a character in its own, because there's a point in this movie where, I mean, in one of the promos, I believe the suit says, "Hello, Peter. You've done. You've passed the training wheels protocol." And yes, so you're going to see that part in the suit, and they're gonna flesh it out more. It's a promo, and you're gonna see that part, and they're gonna flesh that out more. So it's something that you should look out for. The suit is a very funny character in itself, and it did its thing. I don't really know who voiced it. There wasn't anything there. I'm also not gonna put that on here to spoil anything for anyone, because there are characters that come into this movie that actually, like, like that. I mean, this movie is an Easter egg factory. There are Easter eggs everywhere. There's an Easter egg. There's an Avengers Easter egg. There's just a lot of Easter eggs. I can't even start name dropping because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. It's so hard to talk about this movie without talking, fully go into discussion about this movie without talking spoilers. The final battle, yeah, it was okay. It was okay. It served its purpose, to help. This movie, again, like I said, this movie is a coming of age movie. It helps you. There's a little something I like to see as growth in this movie. It's him growing from, in the beginning adoring Iron Man and wanting to be like Iron Man, to discovering that I can do this myself. I before I met Iron Man, I was stopping buses with my bare hands. So I can do this. I can be a hero. There's a lot of proving himself to Iron Man in this, and then that falls apart, and he has to prove himself to himself and still be a high school kid. The story of the characters and the movie itself make for a good time at the movies. I mean, if you want to have a really good time, want to watch Spider-Man, like I said, Easter Egg Factory. So there is some, there's some characters in this that you go, oh my god, this is a Spider-Man character. I know this character if you know Spider-Man. And then there's some characters, there's some moments in this movie you go, oh my god, this actually referenced, Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man. So, you tend to love it. You tend to look at it and you tend to love it, and you tend to say, okay, so they cater to everyone. The actual avid Spider-Man fans and the casual Spider-Man fans, the ones coming from the Sony movies and the ones coming from the comic book world and the Sony movies. So, they cater to everyone. So this movie is a good time for everyone. I say, if you want to enjoy yourself, you want to see a Spider-Man movie that you're gonna love, I say you're gonna like it. If you're going in with Spider-Man fatigue, And if you're going in with, I don't know about this, you know, at some points this movie might, you know, might help you out and move you away from that. And if you're the one who's just going in because, you know, you're taking people or people are taking you, I don't really know if this will be the movie for you or the movie that's going to change your mind and bring you back to the Spider-Man fold. There's, you know, it might be tricky with that, but it is a good time. You are gonna have a good time. You're gonna enjoy it if you know, if you want to enjoy it. So I mean, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna withhold my actual grade of this movie because, you know, with on Earth 2 we actually do grades. So I'm gonna withhold my grade of this movie, and I'm going to say it like this: if you have to go enjoy this movie, you have to go see this movie and develop your own opinion about it, and then you can come back and we can do a spoiler talk. So if you've already seen this movie, down in the comments below, let me know your grade. We can discuss this. And if you're going to discuss this movie down in the comment section, please, please, please don't spoil anything for anyone. Try not to do that. Try not to ruin it for people if you've already seen this. If you are going to go see this, let me know if you're excited about it. Let me know what you're going to grade this movie coming out. Let me know if what you've seen on Twitter and people talking about it on Instagram is going to influence you seeing this movie. If not, hey, enjoy the movie. Develop your own opinion about it. This is your boy Mo Crosby. Here on Earth 2, but you can also catch me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, Earth2 Comiccast. You can catch us on the podcast on SoundCloud.com. We talking about movies, TV shows, comic books. We do everything on there. I mean, we have blown out discussions, and anything spoilery goes on there. So first spoiler content goes on the podcast before it comes out on, you know, for general audiences on YouTube. Thank you for watching. Again, like and subscribe if you haven't. Follow on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. This has been Earth2. You've watched another Earth2 reviews. See the movie.